last night, as I record this, Apple had its big iPhone launch for 2021, and as well as the new iPhone 13 range, it announced a new Apple Watch, a new iPad, a new iPad mini, and some more fitness. We're writers, though, you and I, and so the question, I think, is whether any of this was of any interest, any use, any value to us as writers. And there is that great line from The Simpsons. Short answer, yes, with an if. Long answer, no, with a but. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who write on Macs and iPhones and iPads, but this time it is specifically about new iPhones, iPads, and Apple Watches, and I suppose fitness. All right then. Do subscribe because, for one thing, actually, there's now a complete 5-episode 58 Keys playlist about how to choose the exact right Apple device for you, and also then how to pay for these expensive things. Now though, Apple's event, I don't believe it brought us anything transformative for writers. There wasn't any one thing I think means we must buy, but instead there were many things, many things actually, that together greatly improved all that Apple already offers us as writers. So the iPad is now more useful to us, the iPhone is better for us, and the Apple Watch range has more options for us. Just since it's you, by the way, the best thing about Apple Launch for me was that I got it right. It's not like I go around predicting new Apple devices, because what do I know? But what I do know is that the process you go through as a writer of choosing, of determining which device is best for you and your circumstance, that bit doesn't change at all. And so I'm rather pleased to say that everything I said in those 58 Keys specials stands exactly as it did. I don't have to re-record anything. Or at least it stands for iPhones and iPads and Apple Watch. We'll know about Macs some other time. But anyway, iPhones, iPads, Apple Watch. I recommended specific models. I recommended the Apple Watch SE, the regular lowest cost iPad, and the base iPhone, and I still do. I recommend each one of those very strongly. Just quite quickly though, there is more to say about each of them now, and actually there is more reason for you to completely disagree with my recommendations, and I think I might be with you on that one, but we'll build to that. We'll work with me. The new iPad and the new iPad mini. Previously, I said that the regular iPad, what Apple just calls iPad, is the best for us because it's a sweet spot, really, in the whole range for features and price. You can get a better screen on the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. I mean, you can get all sorts of things with those models, and they are not to be ignored. But the iPad, the regular iPad, was an amazingly useful device, and it was sold at what, for Apple especially, was a bargain price. It still is. Same price, same usefulness, but now it's faster. Apple says it's 20% faster than it was. The screen is the same, but it has a True Tone feature now, which means the iPad changes the colours of your screen very subtly across the day, or as you move between bright and dark lit areas. It makes the screen more comfortable to look at for a long time. And for all that I praised the iPad, I did have one very big concern, which was that it comes with very little storage space. It used to start with 32 gigabytes, which is just impossibly small. It's paltry. And now it doesn't. The iPad now starts with 64 gigabytes, which I know, mathematically is twice as good, but actually it's 10 times greater. So the new iPad, you go right ahead and buy one. Starts at $329 or £319. As I record this on September the 15th, 2021, you can order it right now, and you'll get it next week from September the 24th. I still say, by the way, that you shouldn't hesitate between the iPad and the iPad mini. Though maybe that's a tighter choice now, because the iPad mini got a much bigger redesign than the iPad did. The iPad mini is a smaller iPad. Oh, get away. What a shock revelation. Yeah, it fits into more bags. It fits more easily into things than any of the other iPads. I don't think that the smaller size is as good for us to write on as the large iPad, and it used to be that you paid an awful lot more money to get that smaller size with no real extra benefit. Now you still pay an awful lot more, and in fact actually you're paying even awful more. The iPad mini used to start at $399 or £399. The new iPad mini starts instead at $499 or £479. And if you're working that out in your fingers like I did, that's $170 or £160 more than the slightly bigger regular iPad. Except you do now get a lot more for your money than solely a smaller size. And actually I like that size for certain things. The new iPad mini, it's reportedly 40% faster than the last one, and it has an improved liquid retina display. So instead of really great, it's now absolutely excellent. This is the level of technical detail you get from me. And that screen actually, more visibly, is much bigger. I mean, I believe it's in the same size iPad mini body, but the screen is now 8.3 inches diagonally instead of 7.9, which is actually a significant difference. And it's possible it's bigger because the screen now goes closer to the edges and because the old home button is gone. Instead, you now use a button at the top of the iPad mini to unlock it. Plus, if you pay for a cellular model, so you got yourself in a position where you need to pay another monthly phone bill for it, you can get 5G now. There are also improvements to the speakers apparently, and actually the cameras, I should say this, on both the iPad and the iPad mini have been improved quite significantly. No question, iPad mini is a very nice device. Some question, is the 8.3 inch screen bigger enough to make the iPad mini better for writing on? Yes, but I still don't think it's better enough to warrant the substantially greater price, at least not for us as writers on a budget. Next, the iPhone. Quick story, side story, hopefully mildly interesting side story. I can tell you this because you're a writer, right? So obviously I was watching Apple's event last night, and I was very quickly actually coming to these conclusions about the iPad and the iPad mini, and also actually pretty rapidly coming to decisions about how much I want the new Apple Watch, but that's another story. But at the end of the event, I had no clue about the iPhones. I'd missed it all because I was working. I write a lot for appleinsider.com, and of course everyone on that team was watching the event. Everyone on that team was writing about different bits of it. You get assigned certain topics to cover as they're announced, and it's just a real buzz, actually. Writing a news story as quickly as you possibly can, especially because, you're not there to be a catalogue for Apple or something. You're trying to find something useful to say at the same time. So you're writing your assignment, you're getting briefed on something else as you go. It's amazing how much of the event you can miss, even while it's on the screen, even while you're watching, listening, it, because you're writing about one little bit. And that is a thing. Forget Apple and all this stuff. This thing I love about writing in general, and you get this too, I know you do, those moments of total concentration. I think it's liberating. You have 1,000 worries all day and they're all gone for that bit. They're pushed out of your head because you are concentrating on your writing. And when you can do that, when you get those moments, it's fantastic. Although it did mean that the minute I finished writing for Apple Insider last night, I left my office, I went downstairs to my living room and watched the event again. Most significantly, I skipped the bits I'd written about. I knew that bit, but I'd missed the entire iPhone announcement, the whole thing. Actually, though, even Apple seemed to skirt it a bit because there are, again, 4 iPhones, and Apple really only talked about 2 of them, giving a kind of nod to the others. The one they gave most of a nod to, well, no, they discussed the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro. They made a reasonably big nod to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the biggest one, and actually specifically because that model apparently has the greatest, longest running battery life of any iPhone in the world ever. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is the iPhone 13 Pro with a bigger screen, bigger case, bigger battery, and for once it seems to me not so clear a difference in the cameras. The phone just for completeness, the phone they barely recognised as one as their own was the iPhone 13 mini, and that is the iPhone 13 squeezed down. I like that smaller size, but So just as it was last time, the real comparison that Apple made, that I want us to make as writers, it's a choice between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro, or almost. There is actually a small new wrinkle this year, but between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro, I believe the base iPhone 13 is the best value in terms of features and price for us as writers. It's a quite amazing phone. And although there are differences in it and the Pro version, well, for most writers, I would say they aren't significant, but they are good. And they are tempting me, actually, to get iPhone 13 Pro. Basically, it comes down to the fact that the cameras are better, particularly for video, and also the graphics are faster too. So if you're a gamer, that might help, and I'm not really. But actually, of all of the cameras in all of the iPhones, they all get a feature that I think was the single wow moment in the entire event: cinematic mode. It's not really for writers, but yeah, it's on all iPhones now. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of gimmicky films written to make use of it, but it's going to become a strong tool for filmmakers, so why not for us? Cinematic mode, amongst quite a few things, it lets you change focus later. So let's say you and I weren't face to face like this, but we were side by side. You could be in focus talking, and then when you wanted the attention on me for my response, I could be in focus. And I don't mean that one person is in focus and the other person's invisible. I mean, it's more subtle than that. It's a guiding the viewer's attention to where you want them to look, kind of thing. Or more. I love this so much. Let's say, to me, you're behind me. I'm talking straight ahead. The focus is on me. The camera's looking at me. But I turn to look at you, and the moment I do, the iPhone will automatically change focus to look at you instead. It's the disappearance of the face. As the face leaves frame, it looks for the other face. I mean, cinematic mode. It's hardly a reason to buy when you're a writer, but it's an amazing thing, and I see no reason why we shouldn't have amazing things, especially as it's in the cheapest new iPhone 13 as well. The iPhone 13 starts at $699 or £679. The iPhone 13 Pro is from $999 or £949. And actually, this time out, Apple took some time to stress how you can get a lot of money off that by trading in your old iPhone. I think that's the first time they've made a stance on it during the launch event. So do check out the trades. Actually, as I say in the 58 Keys buying guide playlist, which is all linked below. And also, as I said there, I continue to recommend the base iPhone for you. But I did say there was a wrinkle, and it's a small one. Apple always sells older versions of iPhones, but this time it seems to be selling more of them than it did before. So alongside the whole new iPhone 13 range, there's the iPhone 12, not the 12 Pro, but the 12, the iPhone 11 and the iPhone SE. These are all very good phones. Pick any of them and you will be happy. But the iPhone 13 is the sweet spot. Speaking of selling older models, I am, let's say, startled that Apple is again hanging on to selling the Apple Watch Series 3. It starts at £199 or dollars, and that's a nice price compared to last year's Apple Watch SE, which is $279 or £269, and compared to the new Apple Watch Series 7, which starts at $399. And actually, for some reason, it's not quite clear what the UK price will be, but you know the range. Only what is definitely clear is this: never buy the Apple Watch Series 3. It was fine, but then the Series 4, like I have, it introduced so many changes that are now in the rest of the watch range that the Series 3 is actually a bad buy. What remains best for us as writers is the Apple Watch SE, but I am very tempted by the new Apple Watch Series 7. I've told you several times now, and possibly a little bit too smugly, sorry, that everything I'd said about the new phones and choosing was true. There was a story that other people said about the Apple Watch that turned out to be wrong. And yeah, you wouldn't wish anybody to be wrong. You wouldn't wish that on anyone. I am so relieved, because the rumour, the really, really strong rumour, was that the new watch would get the same flattened edge kind of design that the iPhone and the iPad Pro have. I like that design on the iPhone and the iPad Pro. I like it very much. But there were renders, there were drawings of flat-edged Apple Watches, what that would look like. And it looked like ugly to me. It looked dreadful. And none of that happened. The Apple Watch, the new Apple Watch Series 7, it has a larger body, it has a larger screen, but it's all curved really nicely, and it's so good. This all leaves us with just Apple Fitness Plus from the event last night, and I'm quite happy to just leave that completely. Look, all right, okay. We're writers, we sit down all day at a desk, we hunch over writing. Fitness Plus is good for us, and I will tell you, Apple does it really well. I go through waves of using it, and I'm always very glad when I do. Just always pretty glad when I don't. Listen, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys after Apple's September 2021 launch, and I am so drawn to that new Apple Watch. The new iPad, but out of all of the devices, the new iPad is the one to get for writers, but I've already got an iPad Pro, so I can be drawn to the watch. Actually, listen, I'd be really curious to know what you think of these new devices, and I mean you as a writer. Since we're writers, I mean, I love all the camera stuff, but do we need it? Do you care? Is that actually worth extra money to you? I think it might be to me. Let me know in the things below, would you? I'd have a nice natter down there. In the meantime, thank you very much, as ever, Richard, to the UK's Arts Council for all their help in these recent episodes, 58 Keys, and thank you for watching. Do take care of yourself, hey? Write more on any device, new or old, and I'll see you soon.